So Alex Rider is now on freevee. It's Prime Video series, or Prime Video now own freevee, and so the third season of Alex Rider has dropped today. I'm here to talk about all of the 8 episodes. No spoilers, so let's jump in. Alex Rider is still after his main enemy, Scorpio. Under new leadership, the criminal cabal plan to extort the British government using their catastrophic new superweapon, Invisible Sword. But free from the department and aided by his closest friends, Alex, Tom and Kyra embark on a personal mission to destroy Scorpio once and for all. When the first season of Alex Rider dropped all those years back, it was received with mixed emotions. Those that really loved the books and then came to this and thought, what's this interpretation going to be? And then there were those that had never heard of Alex Rider and came to this like a young espionage, and there's definitely a demographic for this, but even the adults have been teenagers at one point and can relate somewhat, but not everybody on the face of the earth is going to relate to this. In fact, the majority aren't, because we're not spies, but we understand adventure, escapism, and the way the story was centered around those people that Alex held close is what made the story endearing and why you kind of cared for the characters. We're talking about, of course, Tom, who was is his best friend. You're talking about what happened with played by Marley Sue, who's Kyra. She is now definitely part of the Intrepid crew, and of course the actress who plays Jack Starbright, Ronka Adekolojo. Forgive me if I've said that name wrong, but those are the 4 main characters that have kind of pushed forward the emotional story, so that each larger than life story of the big bad or the spies or the agencies that our Alex Rider character has to engage with, that is the heart of the story, and that continues here. The difference between those 2 previous seasons and this time round is that it's more personal than ever, and then we have them, because it's been a couple of years, they've grown up somewhat, and this time it does even look physically, because time has passed and the acting, the young actors is growing up. But I believe it's based on the 5th book, and he's 24 years of age now, so he is that much more of an adult, still young, but past that kind of young adolescence. Now everything is much more adult, and you feel that in here. The consequences, the conversations that they're having are much more adult. Although he retains that innocence with his best friends, there is that when he's being engaged, when he's doing work, when he's on a mission, because it's so personal, because it's so much more real. I think that works. And so we have 2 stories that go on here. One that One that the agency is trying to deal with Scorpio. They kind of always are like 10 steps back. The agency is playing politics with government and trying to sidestep around certain red tape to be able to do their job. But there are people making that difficult for them. So we have the sort of politics, spy stuff that goes on with characters that we've seen before, and we know how complicated that is with our Alex Rider character. And then Alex and his team trying to take down Scorpio personally. They no longer attached to the agency. So you have these 2 stories that are running in congruency with each other, but then they're intertwined towards the latter few episodes. Now I would say every episode has some action to it. There's always something going on, whether it's Alex's story where he's trying to track down Scorpio, whether it's the agencies dealing with Scorpio, or on the back end dealing with the consequences of what Scorpio are getting up to. That is all very well paced and very well timed. And when it comes to the acting, the friendships of Alex and his team are very much believable, especially with that kind of growing. There are new blossoming parts of the relationships that we make sense for it to add more emotion to the characters. And when it comes to those action sequences, I think they do it well because they're very tense. There's quite a bit of hand-to-hand combat mixed with whatever martial arts, Krav Maga, whatever Alex has need of. There's a clear part of this storyline of all 8 episodes where it's mainly Alex's story. So we have those side characters, but Alex will always go off on his own to do something, get caught up in the whole Scorpio storyline, end up having to do spy stuff and spy training, and then try and be pulled back into his normal world, which kind of grounds him. I like that a lot about this series because they play with that sort of he is being drawn into that spy world to be able to discover what actually happened with Scorpio, with his past, and especially with the reveals that we get here, with the emotional beats. I think this was a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it is serious enough for you to care about the consequences. The cinematography with the action, I think, looks fantastic, and I really like the acting with the relationships that blossom between surrogate mother, the Jack Starbright character, who's now kind of surrogate mother and father for all of the young intrepid crew that are trying to take down Scorpio. When it comes to the bad guy of Scorpio, it's very underdeveloped. There is this storyline of why this character is the way the character is, without doing spoilers, but I think it's very like, I'm bad guy, I'm gonna take over the world and do stuff because blah blah blah. Their story needed to be developed more, their characters need to be developed more, but you don't so much care about them because the storyline doesn't focus on them. There are a few other bad guy henchmen that they concentrate more on that we've seen before. One in particular, Yasin, he is in this again, and I think his storyline is more interesting and more complex, and particularly probably the most interesting side of the bad guy side. When it comes to the so-called good guys, they are flawed as always, which is why Alex left them. He's no longer associated with the agency that his dad was an agent for. We have that kind of gray matter sitting there where the morality stands. Do you help and do things for the greater good? Do you save the millions and kill the few? That's sort of where they sit, and Alex come to terms with that in his own life. There are things that he probably has to do that he doesn't want to do. Those choices in this storyline, which makes for a very intriguing drama, and I think all the actors play it very well. It's a very entertaining story. It is somewhat pitched at the younger, I would say late teens, but for those that have grown up reading the Alex Rider stories, and you particularly like novel 5, I think you will enjoy this. Their interpretation of it, what they've done with it, the Alex Rider characters really growing into their own, and I would say that season 3 has found a footing now. My only issue is that it's on freevee, which probably means you're going to be watching ads between those episodes, so that'll give you a time to go and get a tea break and, you know, go to the loo. If you are a fan, you'll probably know that this is coming out today. But if you weren't like a diehard fan, you'll probably be surprised that, oh, this kind of came out of nowhere again. They did a 3rd season, it got picked up. It's that sort of feeling. However, I think now that they've really found their footing, their stride, this for me is the better of the series. They've been going up in quality and story and pacing, which was a big issue for me in the previous 2 seasons. Pacing's a little bit all over for me. This feels like they found their pacing with each episode. Controlled story, 3-tiered arc, nice conclusion, a little bit of an Easter egg at the end, and then just interesting episodes to watch as that story unfolds. I think they've done a really good job here. So I'm going to give it 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
Let me know what you think. Very excited for you guys to see this. If you're a fan, I would love to know who's your favorite character in this live action interpretation. Thanks so much for watching. Got another review coming out today called Ripley. I believe that dropped yesterday. And I've watched all of those long black and white episodes. But thanks so much for watching. And most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.